I've had air filters in my house. I've tried tons of different things to try to deal with my allergies, to deal with trying to get cleaner air inside my home, and I haven't found anything to be effective. Aeroside is the first product I've dealt with that actually makes me feel better when I wake up in the morning. I have found that the Aeroside has helped me so much deal with my allergies that I would recommend it to anyone who has trouble breathing or wants cleaner air, whether it's allergies or asthma or just they want healthier air in their home. The backstory of Aeroside is really impressive, that it was used in the space station, that NASA helped develop the technology, that hospitals use it, that it's qualified to be in an operating room. I mean, that's how much it does the job that it needs to do, and that's how effective it is. And why shouldn't I have that for me and my family and my kids? I deserve that technology too. My kids should have that keeping their air clean.
Welcome to the Clear Air Revolution. Over the next few minutes, I want to introduce you to a remarkable air purification technology. It's called Aeroside, and it's unlike anything that you've ever seen before. Why? Because it uses no filters, it's FDA approved, and it was created by the folks at NASA. Now, while this technology is leading edge, what's more important is the way it lets you feel. We've just heard from Allison Sweeney, host of NBC's Biggest Loser. Coming up, we've got Dr. Jim Sears, a leading pediatrician and host of The Doctors, leading architect and designer from HGTV, John Gidding, and nationally known pet expert Wendy Diamond, along with consumers like you and me. All of these folks are experiencing Aeroside right now to protect themselves and their families the way it protects mine.
Grant was diagnosed at really young with allergy-induced asthma. So he has asthma that's triggered by allergens in the air. So he could be out at a park or at a sporting activity and get what we call a flare-up. And so where he starts to have an asthmatic attack. And when that happens, we give him rescue medication and we wait to see how bad the flare-up really is. About 3 to 4 weeks after we put Aeroside in his room, he had an asthmatic flare-up. And what we noticed is that immediately after we give him the medication, he seemed to recover much quicker. So I felt like the recovery time was cut in half.
You might not realize it, but there are hundreds of chemicals in the air in our homes. Chemicals people are unwittingly inhaling every day. Things like decane, benzene, ethylene glycol, coming out of things we own, like furniture, paint, carpet, kitchen cabinets, computer keyboards, and cleaning supplies. They're called VOCs. Many of them are asthma and allergy triggers. You can't see them, but they're found throughout a typical home. The EPA says 188 of these things are hazardous air pollutants. Even slightly elevated levels of these emissions have the potential of producing health issues among allergy sufferers, asthma sufferers, as well as young children, the elderly, and women who are pregnant. And according to the EPA, concentrations of this stuff are consistently higher indoors. In fact, up to 10 times higher than outdoors.
As a mom, knowing about VOCs is important. You should pay attention to this because when I learned about this stuff, it was downright frightening. They're everywhere, in the paint, in the carpet, in the furniture. I plugged in the Aeroside, and within a few days, I could tell it was working. I could smell the difference. So if you or someone in your house has allergies or asthma, trouble sleeping, or you're just concerned with breathing household chemicals, I think Aeroside can help.
So my littlest twin has cold-induced breathing difficulties, which basically means that if my kids get sick, he's the one that gets the sickest. I know that it's not going to eliminate everything, and I know that it's not going to prevent him from getting sick. But if it keeps doing what it has been doing, which is outstanding, and can minimize his illness, so cut it down to a 24-hour thing as opposed to a 3 to 4 week thing, absolutely, I'm amazed by it.
I've been analyzing the quality of indoor air for 35 years. And what I can tell you is that, unlike the Aeroside technology developed by NASA, conventional air purification technology relies primarily on filters and electrostatic plates. Imagine that this tennis racket represents one of the best filters on the market, the HEPA filter, and that the strings on the racket represent the fibers on the filter matrix. Now we'll use these marbles to represent particles that the best HEPA filters can stop. Those particles are 0.3 microns and larger. Does a pretty good job, doesn't it? And that's why you see a dirty filter. But here's the problem. What happens to those particles that are smaller than 0.3 microns? These marbles will represent things like viruses, chemical emissions, and VOCs. Watch. That's about how effective the best HEPA filter is against viruses and chemical emissions in our home. Due to the sizes of viruses and VOCs, they simply don't work. Aeroside is so scientifically advanced, it doesn't use filters, so it isn't size dependent. That means that nothing organic is small enough to escape Aeroside science. Not viruses, not mycotoxins from mold, not even those chemical gases we call VOCs.
I've had allergies my entire life. I've tried everything to deal with pet dander, and no matter how clean my house was, I still had issues with my allergies. Then I found Aeroside. I'm amazed at how fast and effective Aeroside really is. No more stuffy nose, itchy eyes. We cannot imagine life without Aeroside.
The biggest compliment that I received after putting the Aeroside unit into my apartment would be a friend came over. She has allergies as well, and she said, I can't even tell that you have a dog.
Aeroside has been the most effective way of dealing with my allergies. I'm happier, healthier, I feel more energized, I feel ready to start my day every morning.
Ever since I got the Aeroside, now I don't wake up congested anymore, and I used to wake up with red eyes in the morning, and I don't wake up with red eyes anymore. My allergies have gotten a lot better. I haven't had any problems since I've gotten it. I couldn't imagine living without the Aeroside now. I wouldn't want any other air purifier now.
Now you may be wondering, if the technology is this good, how come I've never heard of it before? The answer is because it's never before been made available for your home. It's actually been in use in some of the most demanding industrial settings for almost a decade. Large companies such as Kraft, Del Monte, Whole Foods supermarkets, Super Value, and 70-plus wineries in Napa and Sonoma Valley have all used this technology. Why? Because it works. Aeroside is FDA approved. It's been thoroughly tested by leading laboratories, universities, even governmental agencies. So if you or someone in your household has allergies, trouble sleeping, or simply doesn't want to breathe in household chemicals, I think Aeroside can help. Look, some folks notice a difference in just a couple of days. Others, maybe a while longer. Look, we know the science works. We just don't know how long it'll take for it to work for you, which is why we're giving you a 60-day money-back guarantee. Order Aeroside, plug it in, and let it run. And in 60 days, if you don't feel better, and I mean feel better, simply return it for a full refund. I'll even pay your return shipping.
Better. Isn't that what we want out of an air purifier, to feel better? But if you want to truly feel better, you need something that is better. What was born in the imaginings of NASA scientists is now real. Air purification technology so advanced, it doesn't use filters. And it's unlike anything that's ever been made available to the public before. We built it for one reason: to help you feel better.
Aeroside is the first product I've dealt with that actually makes me feel better when I wake up in the morning.
It's incredible, and I can't say enough. I really, really like it.
It speaks for itself when you're able to come across a product that works.
The genius of Aeroside is in the way it works. It uses no filters or magic plates, and it doesn't trap organic particulate or molecules. Best of all, unlike filters, which can't remove the smallest, most harmful particulate, Aeroside oxidizes even the tiniest microbes on contact. they simply cease to exist. Aeroside is proven science. It's FDA approved, and it's been tested over the last 12 years by independent universities, laboratories, and governmental agencies. Even the press is filled with stories about Aeroside. Why? Because it works. Aeroside has been used in industrial settings for years, from protecting Fortune 500 companies from bacteria and fungi to eradicating mold in Napa Valley wineries. Aeroside is used in healthcare settings, where it removes airborne pathogens and volatile organic compounds from operating and treatment rooms, intensive care units, and pediatric areas. And now, it's available to clear the air in your home.
You know, I gave Aeroside a try, and I was really happy that I did because it worked.
Aeroside works. It's worked for me, and it'll work for you.
I actually haven't had to use allergy pills since we got it.
Aeroside is like no other air purifier I've experienced.
If someone in your home has allergies, asthma, or you just want your family to breathe better air, then Aeroside is the answer you've been waiting for. Go to tryaeroside.com or call the number on your screen to find out more about how you can get Aeroside risk-free for 60 days. NASA developed, FDA approved, doctor recommended, proven technology that is now available for your home.
I love my Aeroside.
I love Aeroside.
I love my Aeroside.
We love Aeroside.
Order in the next 30 minutes and you'll receive free shipping along with this elegant wood sleeve, a $120 value. Aeroside comes with a 60-day Feel Better guarantee. Try Aeroside, and if you don't feel better, simply return it for a full refund. We'll even pay return shipping. Aeroside is a breakthrough in science, in style, and most importantly, in the way it makes you feel. Aeroside, air purification that works.
The respiratory systems of newborns are especially vulnerable to airborne pathogens and the chemical gases emitted by new paint, new furniture, new carpet, even that giant teddy bear. Essentially, the typical things people add when decorating a new baby's room. Now, this is a growing problem in our homes, and one where the lack of education about what's really happening in our personal spaces can result in some very serious side effects. In fact, Good Morning America recently did an experiment in a nursery and found 300 airborne chemicals in the environment.
In the Good Morning America test, over 300 harmful emissions were found in a typical nursery. For this test, we went a step further. We created a similar sized room and decorated in the same manner, only this time we added an Aeroside. Just as before, we checked to see what your newborn baby is potentially breathing in. Here, we've combined time-lapse photography with our lab's chemical emissions readings. See the dramatic difference Aeroside makes as the count begins to fall? In fact, harmful emissions in this room fell by 79% in just the first 7 days. Keep in mind, chemical gases are present in our environment every day, which is precisely why this NASA-developed Aeroside technology should be in your home.
So when I was pregnant with Jonah, I was paranoid and pretty much just terrified of everything. One thing we heard was this story on the news about chemical gases in the air and in the home and how bad they really are. After we painted the baby's nursery, it was just the smell of fumes everywhere. When we got the Aeroside, we put it immediately in the room. The smell of the fresh paint was just gone. I'm just glad that my husband found the Aeroside for us, for our family.
Cribs, strollers, and baby monitors, those are the usual things that new parents are going to buy. But considering what's likely in the air, I'd recommend you add Aeroside to this must-have list.
You know, it's interesting because I've never had asthma, I've never had allergies, so when it started happening for my son, I felt his pain, but I really didn't understand. Aeroside was the easiest thing we've ever had to use to improve his health. I plugged it in, he didn't even know it was there, and it started to help him right away.
As a physician, I take care of women for a living. I've delivered thousands of babies, and now as a new mom, I too want to protect my child. Having Aeroside in my home Makes me feel like I'm doing everything I can to protect his health.
This here is my sweet baby Gavin, and he was born prematurely. And because of that, he had to be hospitalized in the NICU for over a month. And when he was born, he fit in my hand. He's our first child. And when we took him home, we still had to be cautious of things. Things needed to always be sterilized. Our hands always needed to be washed. No one could come to my house if they had any symptoms or if they were even around anyone with symptoms. Because we have the Aeroside in our home to protect him from viruses, from any kind of pollutants, from anything that could harm him, it's been a whole year. He's almost a year old. He has not gotten sick once. We absolutely love Aeroside.
If you're anything like me, when you hear and see these claims, you have a right to be skeptical. But let me ask you, can all these people really be wrong? I mean, we've heard from a leading pediatrician. We've heard from a founding president of the Indoor Air Quality Association, a gentleman who's an expert on volatile organic compounds. We've heard from moms. We've heard from consumers like me and you, and they've all said the same thing. Aeroside works. Now, we have a mountain of scientific evidence that supports our claims, and our guarantee is just feel better, your money back. But what does it mean to feel better? Let me take a pause on this for a minute. Ask any parent who has a child who no longer suffers from asthma or allergy episodes, and they'll tell you what it means to feel better. Or if you no longer wake up with itchy eyes and a stuffy head, you know what it means to feel better. So if you're among the millions of Americans who simply wants to feel better, try Aeroside. Plug it in and let it run. And if in 60 days you don't feel better, return it for a full refund. I'll even pay your return shipping. Why do I do this? Because I know you're gonna like it.
Go to tryaeroside.com or call the number on your screen to find out more about how you can get Aeroside risk-free for 60 days. NASA developed, FDA approved, doctor recommended, proven technology that is now available for your home.
Aeroside is the first product I've dealt with that actually makes me feel better when I wake up in the morning.
It speaks for itself when you're able to come across a product that works.
The genius of Aeroside is in the way it works. It uses no filters or magic plates, and it doesn't trap organic particulate or molecules. Best of all, unlike filters, which can't remove the smallest, most harmful particulate, Aeroside oxidizes even the tiniest microbes on contact. They simply cease to exist. Order before the time runs out, and you'll receive free shipping, along with this elegant wood sleeve, a $120 value. Aeroside comes with a 60-day Feel Better guarantee. Try Aeroside, and if you don't feel better, simply return it for a full refund. We'll even pay return shipping. Aeroside is a breakthrough in science, in style, and most importantly, in the way it makes you feel. Aeroside, air purification that works.
We've talked to you about VOCs, the gases that are emitted from household items that even HEPA filters can't touch. But VOCs are tiny, so tiny in fact, they really can't be seen. But there's another household organic that can be seen. And unfortunately, everyone knows what it looks like. Mold. At first, we thought about taking you into a laboratory and showing you how Aeroside interacts with mold. And then we came up with a better idea. Instead, we're going to take you to one of our industrial installations. We're going to take you to world-famous Napa Valley, where legendary winemaker Brad Warner is going to talk to you about his experience with mold and with Aeroside.
I'm Brad Warner, and I've been in and around wineries and wine cellars since 1967. I'm the winemaker at Foley Johnson Winery in Rutherford, California. We're producing about 5,000 cases of wine, all estate-grown fruit from the Rutherford property. We have an above-ground cellar, all stainless steel tanks, and a below-ground barrel room, about 332 barrels. The barrel room is excellent storage area because it's natural humidity and natural temperature. But one issue I discovered, we're having black mold issues on the wall. I did not want to use any cleaning compounds, chlorine or any other chemicals to clean the walls because actually the wines will pick up that odor in the wines itself. So since I've installed the Aeroside units and running them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, year-round, I have had no black mold issues in the barrel room.
Our allergy started about 10 years ago when we were exposed to mold, which made us autoimmune, and it was extremely severe and scary. I know the Aeroside works because you can see the results. It's pretty immediate. It reduces your doctor bills and the medicine bills, and you're sane. I mean, you're a sane person because it's not just the machine that you're buying your health back.
Yeah, Aeroside has changed my life. I was finally able to just sort of like start over. It wasn't so hard just to live. I know that I'm going to wake up and be able to breathe through my nose. If I saw someone that I knew that was suffering from even a fraction of the allergies that I suffer from, I would definitely recommend Aeroside.
I have terrible allergies, and I'm allergic to mold. I put an Aeroside in my room, and I noticed that the air was cleaner, and that all of a sudden I wasn't waking up sneezing, and I was sleeping through the night.
After I started using the Aeroside, the bronchial problems went away and have continued to remain away. I truly believe that the Aeroside device has saved my life.
My eye has always been attracted to form. Anything that's beautiful, I'm taking a look at it. So the first thing I noticed was Aeroside's elegant geometric shape and clean, simple lines. Everything that I'm attracted to. When they told me it was an air purifier, I was actually surprised. I thought it was a speaker. I totally didn't see it coming. It's a truly beautiful object. It's completely unobtrusive, and it's unlike everything else out there that's pretending to do what Aeroside actually does. Aeroside is, for me, as functional as it is sculptural. It gives me the flexibility to position the unit in any way I want, whether it's horizontal on top of a chest of drawers or vertically on a nightstand, it works. And they have an optional wood sleeve, and wood is the kind of familiar material that makes it completely normal in any setting. Then there's the technology. It's revolutionary, it's powerful, and it's completely unique, and that uniqueness is represented in the design. Add to that the simply amazing metal grillwork on the front, and you've just created an air purification unit that I can honestly say I'm excited to work with.
Other air purifiers typically are large and bulky, so anytime you're having company or you think someone might stop by, you'll always hide them. Nobody would ever know that it was an air purifier. It looks amazing.
There are a lot of things that impress me about Aeroside. One is that I can have it out in front of other people. Like, I have a nice house and I want it to look nice when I have guests come over. And in fact, my friends were over and commented on how nice it looks. They didn't even know that that was our air purifier. I mean, they didn't realize that that's what that unit was doing. It just looks cool.
Every remodeling project presents its own challenges. How to repurpose, how to bring out the best qualities of the space, create circulation. While demolition is used on major projects, almost every job, even the small ones, requires new wallpaper or a fresh coat of paint. And that means VOCs. Lots of them. VOCs are among the strong odors you smell from new paint, carpets, even lacquers. There's simply no way of getting around them, so I had to find a way of getting rid of them. That's why I love Aeroside. It virtually eliminates VOCs.
Here's what we've heard so far. We've heard from consumers like you and me. We've heard from folks who have respiratory illnesses that have seen their conditions improve. We've heard from new moms. We've heard from people who have asthma and allergy and people who have kids that have asthma and allergy. We've heard from pet experts and design experts. We've heard from one of America's leading pediatricians and one of America's leading indoor air quality specialists. All the experts agree, it's unanimous. Aeroside works. But what they're really saying is Aeroside works for them. Only you can determine if Aeroside is right for you, which is why we're giving you a 60-day no-risk money-back guarantee. Order Aeroside, plug it in, and let it run. And if in 60 days you don't feel better, send it back for a full refund. Look, I've installed Aeroside all over the world in lots of different applications. But for me and my family, the most important installation is the one found in our own home. Try Aeroside and experience this for yourself.
better. Isn't that what we want out of an air purifier, to feel better? But if you want to truly feel better, you need something that is better. What was born in the imaginings of NASA scientists is now real. Air purification technology so advanced, it doesn't use filters. And it's unlike anything that's ever been made available to the public before. We built it for one reason: to help you feel better.
Aeroside is the first product I've dealt with that actually makes me feel better when I wake up in the morning.
It's incredible, and I can't say enough. I really, really like it.
It speaks for itself when you're able to come across a product that works.
The genius of Aeroside is in the way it works. It uses no filters or magic plates, and it doesn't trap organic particulate or molecules. Best of all, unlike filters, which can't remove the smallest, most harmful particulate, Aeroside oxidizes even the tiniest microbes on contact. They simply cease to exist. Aeroside is proven science. It's FDA approved, and it's been tested over the last 12 years by independent universities, laboratories, and governmental agencies. Even the press is filled with stories about Aeroside. Why? Because it works. Aeroside has been used in industrial settings for years, from protecting Fortune 500 companies from bacteria and fungi to eradicating mold in Napa Valley wineries. Aeroside is used in healthcare settings, where it removes airborne pathogens and volatile organic compounds from operating and treatment rooms, intensive care units, and pediatric areas. And now, it's available to clear the air in your home.
You know, I gave Aeroside a try, and I was really happy that I did because it worked.
Aeroside works. It's worked for me, and it'll work for you.
I actually haven't had to use allergy pills since we got it.
Aeroside is like no other air purifier I've experienced.
If someone in your home has allergies, asthma, or you just want your family to breathe better air, then Aeroside is the answer you've been waiting for. Go to tryaeroside.com or call the number on your screen to find out more about how you can get Aeroside risk-free for 60 days. NASA developed, FDA approved, doctor recommended, proven technology that is now available for your home.
I love my Aeroside.
I love Aeroside.
I love my Aeroside.
We love Aeroside.
Order before the time runs out, and you'll receive free shipping along with this elegant wood sleeve, a $120 value. Aeroside comes with a 60-day Feel Better guarantee. Try Aeroside, and if you don't feel better, simply return it for a full refund. We'll even pay return shipping. Aeroside is a breakthrough in science, in style, and most importantly, in the way it makes you feel. Aeroside, air purification that works.